From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news direct from Santa Monica, California about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In this recording, we go over the incredible great news about the Build Back Better Act that is getting done, the CR for stimulus that's just a few days away, and the big money that would land with a $2,000 stimulus check in there as well. We're the latest details across the globe, but we'll start, of course, with the breaking news as Ukraine and the Russian battleground continues, and the Russian economy is likely to collapse by the end of the week. Those Russian sanctions are working, and I have the breaking news as Russian economy is falling off the map and its central bank is collapsing in the last few hours. Wow, breaking news in today's recording. But of course, we'll start first with your incredible money. The big CR for Stimulus 1.0 is just a few days away and has $1.5 trillion of discretionary spending in there. That'll give you at least a $2,000 stimulus check. All of the breaking details on this great news first on the horizon. Then we'll turn to the big incredible money that is available in CR for Stimulus 2 and 3.0. But next up, right after that, of course, is SS 300. New economic data that came in overnight that signals where inflation is right now, where it's heading. That FOMC meeting of the Federal Reserve is just days away. I'll have where the indicators are suggesting inflation is going to fall and why Joe Biden needs to make that phone call to raise your benefits up and give you an additional $300 more per month if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. Then we'll be going into the big money you can get later in this video. Stay to the very end. Viewers are cleaning up. Do you want another $10,000 today? It's available. It's third stimulus. And then we're going back into Build Back Better Act that's paying out and is going back to front page news in just a few days. As the State of the Union address is coming, and then brand new details about where Brent crude is and amidst the issues of what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. Brand new developing details overnight. Boy, we got a big day, a big, huge week of breaking news. I'm excited you're here. There's a lot of economic developments happening in just the last few minutes and last few hours. They're all here live direct from Santa Monica, California, as Mornings LA gets underway directly from the shores of Santa Monica with all your financial news starting right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well and hope the weather is good where you are. Jump in the live chat and tell me how you're tuning in from, where the weather is, and how your week is starting off. Well, we got a big recording today, and we'll have the latest battleground developing details as Russia's seen its economy implode. Its valuation of its currency down 30% in the last few hours, and its economy likely to fall off the map by the end of the week as the central bank is now imploding. Those sanctions are working. All the latest details on that. But first, we go right into your money. CR for stimulus right away, just a few days away, $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds. This could give you the check you've wanted very quickly. I have the great news coming up in today's breaking news report direct from Santa Monica, California. We'll be looking at CR for Stimulus 2 and 3 and 4.0, but the one that's right behind that would be the raising of your benefits if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security and railroad benefits. It's SS 300 because the toast is toast and the butter is butter and the coffee's brewing. This is deliciousness. Then we'll be looking at the big opportunity for Joseph Biden to stabilize one of the most important things that you deal with on a regular basis, your gasoline. And I'll go over what's happening with Brent crude, the breaking developing details just minutes ago, and what's going on with that FOMC meeting that impacts your interest rates later this week. It's brand new details. It's all about your money. We'll be looking at the MSC, those multiple IRS automatic stimulus checks that Joe Biden wants to go out with in Build Back Better Act. That's going to be front page news once again, as the State of the Union address is just a few days away. Boy, we have a huge broadcast today, folks, and I'm excited you're here. And with that, I want you to be part of this incredible family. You're watching LALATE, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, and bring us to number 2 by subscribing. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. You're watching the most comprehensive financial news about your money in the United States, broadcast, cable, and internet right today. Let's go right into Build Back Better Act that has 3 clusters of checks, 3 add-ons of checks, upwards of $15,000 to $60,000 of checks. Let's analyze them. They're all staying in there. Here we go. In that first cluster, we got in there hazard pay, stayed in there. My earned income tax credit, 1 more year for my essential workers. Yes, great news. $4,000 of elder care, got it in there. The $3,600 CTC check for the children stayed in there under third stimulus. $4,000 of care for young children got in there as well. The $550 check for my college students, the Pell Grant recipients, and then $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, and they got money in there to repair your home if you live in a low-income community. Wow, that is incredible sums of money. That is the first of 3 clusters of checks. But the first add-on of checks comes from here in the shores of Santa Monica, California. Our legislator got it in there. It's money to buy your first home. Whoa. Boy, just a little bit less than $25,000. Money given from the federal government to the seller at the time of escrow's close in your name. Wow, you heard me right. Money for the purchase of your first home. Got in there. It's staying in there. Let's go to that second cluster of checks. Home repairs and paid leave. Paid leave and home repairs. These are to weatherize your home. And paid leave is if you have to take off from work because your senator showed up at the office wearing those lobster shorts again. Ow, my eyes. Doctor, help me. Paid leave. How much does it pay? It pays $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 more per year. $35,000 annual salary, $800 a week. $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. W-2, 1099, you all get these in sums of money. And if you don't work, but your son or daughter does work, they can get the money across the board, $46,000 a year. Yeah, this is a lot of money, folks. And that is paid leave. That is the second cluster of checks. But the second add-on of checks, I can't believe it's not law, but now it will be. Free coverage for home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Can you imagine that our economy does not have free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities? Well, they're going to get it in there. And they got it in there on the House side, and the incredible provision was a campaign promise by Joe Biden, added by Bob Casey on the House side, staying in there across the board. Now let's go to the third cluster of checks. Oh boy, that is where we find the seniors and the free internet. Now, free internet you can get right now from second stimulus. Reach out to the volunteers on the community page, a link to which is under the video's description. But also they got in there the farmers checks, independent contractors checks, the free school meals for all checks. And then the seniors really doing well under this deliciousness, third cluster. That's with an H, deliciousness. They got in there 2 checks on the House, 3 on the Senate. On the House side, they got the Medicaid gap fix, more about that second, and the hearing checks. And then on the Senate side, they vow to get the dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55 in there as well. That's par for the course of where we're talking about adding checks on the Senate side, and that leads up to our third add-on of checks. And you know what that third add-on of checks are. Jump in the live chat and write those 3 letters right now. Come on. There you go. I saw it. MSC. Monthly sugar-free chocolate cake recipes. No. Monthly stimulus checks, IRS. These are a body of checks that are automatic adult stimulus checks. They're among the checks that Joe Biden says he's ready to set out. Everything in Build Back Better Act will be front page news once again when he has that State of the Union address just a few days ago. And these are among the checks he wants to go out. Now, understand that Build Back Better Act has a lot of checks in there. For you, single, on disabilities, SSI, adults, all across the board. But these are other checks on top of that would be added in there that are sent out from IRS. So who gets it? Eligibility is the same as a third stimulus check legislators represent to use this channel since last spring. Single individuals, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less annual income, you get it. Double it because there's 2 of you. Family for it, you get it as well. Quadruple it because there's 4 of you. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, you get it as well. It is not income. It ain't taxable. It is not offered on a state-by-state basis. It's nationwide. And it is going off the most recent tax return. So if that tax return had a direct deposit account on it, then that's how you get paid. To the one viewer who said, my fiance said I have to pay it back. Time to look at the return policy on the engagement ring, honey. Good Lord. We can't have him advising you about this. This is just, gotta look around. There's other fish in the sea. Reach out to the encounter group on the channel. We'll hook you up. So there we go. MSC. How much money are we talking about? $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. Now, the question, of course, is how do they get it in there? Well, the way they get it in there is by adding it during the Senate subcommittee. But that event has not happened in 11 months. And while the Senate subcommittee would add it during the Senate modifications, then call for a vote on the Senate floor and a 2-day vote-a-rama, that event has not happened. So, 5 weeks ago, I brought back on this channel a potential solution. CR for stimulus. The solution is to use another piece of legislation that would get you a check sooner, that is bipartisan, inherent deadline, quicker, would not negate Build Back Better Act, just get you a check sooner. And where did I come up with this idea just 5 weeks ago? It was an idea that I created in 2020, and I made history. And you, the viewership of this channel, Purple Power, made history as well because it worked and it gave us a check. Let's go back to what we're talking about right now. Build Back Better Act, which we've been covering so far in this video, is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to pay you all these incredible checks. And you're going to see a front page news in just a few days from now for the State of the Union address. But we need money now. So let's get a check out sooner with a continuing resolution. What is a continuing resolution? It is a budget bill done every 36 months to fund the federal government. And in there, it is bipartisan support, inherent deadline. You know, they're going to roll over a few days, a few weeks, a month, not longer than that. And we just rock and roll if we add a stimulus check in there. Can we? Yes. Why? We did it in 2020. In 2020, I came up with the idea of stimulus, CR for stimulus. I created the idea. What was going on? We had gotten the first stimulus check, use it up, need more money, need a second stimulus. We're told there was going on, heard 11 months of negotiations between Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi, no deal. And I said, we got to have something else. You got to get a check out faster, folks. So I looked high and low and I found a continuing resolution, then a deadline in December 2020. I said, let's insert a stimulus check in there. And I made the first recording. CR for stimulus. If you're in the live chat right now, write the hashtag campaign. I said the concept is insert a stimulus check into that December 2020 CR, continuing resolution, get it out, and get it out to the American people. You advocated, Purple Power community, and we made history. I made history because it paid. Americans got paid that check. You made history because you were part of the advocacy. And guess what also happened? Second stimulus fell apart. Second stimulus never had a bill, never had a vote, never paid anyone a penny. So 5 weeks ago, I brought back on channel CR for stimulus. I said, you want to bring it back? And viewers are like, it? Is that the it? I said, yeah, that it. Yes, bring it back. And now it's birthed CR for stimulus 1, 2, 3, and 4.0. All great news about each of them starting right now with CR for stimulus 1.0. The breaking news is really great. Why? At the moment, we have 1, an inherent deadline, early March. 2, dedicate funds, $1.5 trillion of funds. That's enough for at least a $2,000 stimulus check. Bipartisan support, House and Senate, Republicans, Democrats, and everything that we had seen on Thursday and Friday that made us a little bit nervous when the White House was trying to come for some of the money for COVID relief and the restaurant union was trying to come for the money, blocked by the senator from Vermont. So all really good. And so long as the airlines don't listen to this channel, because you know the airlines are always trying to grab our money. So long as the airlines do not tune into this channel, then we're good. So what's the breaking news on CR for Stimulus 1.0? It's coming up after the commercial break, and it is huge. Then the next one that's lined up right behind that is SS300. Joe Biden just needs to make a phone call, and guess what? We have breaking news overnight about where inflation is right now. And it comes from not a Wall Street analyst, but one of the Fed heads. Oh, this is why you want Joe Biden to make the phone call. This would raise your benefits up $200 overnight, folks, and then $300 by the end of this year. It's brand new details today on Mornings. Then we'll be looking at what the Federal Reserve is looking at in interest rates in just a few days as the first of 5 FOMC meetings are happening. 5 interest rate meetings 5 spikes, 7 spikes, half, quarter. I'll have the latest breaking details across the board for you as well. We'll be looking at CRs for stimulus 2 and 3 and 4.0. Stay at the very end of this video because that's where it gets very exciting. I'm going to show you how people are getting $5, $10, $15,000 this week. Have you gotten money for this channel this week? Stay at the very end. I'm going to show you how you get it. And guess what we also got in this video? The president and world countries overnight changed and made some more modifications to ensure that one of the biggest items you pay for is stabilized. It's Brent crude, and I have the breaking details on that. Plus, of course, we'll be looking back at what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, as the Russian sanctions, which may sound very vague to some viewers, are absolutely working. Russia's economy this weekend was the number 10 in the world. Today, at the time of this recording, it's about number 11. By the end of today, it could be number 12. By the end of the week, it could be 15 or 20. Thereafter, it could fall off the map if it continues its acts of aggression. I have the latest details from the battleground and what you need to know and how it impacts your wallet. We got a big second half with a lot of checks. Stay with me as a big second half of this video heats up. But first, here's a little bit about the community page from Santa Monica. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now, direct from Santa Monica, California, as Mornings LA heats up the second half of this live broadcast from the shores of Santa Monica. The CR for Stimulus 1.0 is looking delicious. The toast is toasted and the butter is buttering, and so is the CR, with that inherent deadline just a few days away. So can they get that check in there? And will they? I have the latest breaking details in the second half of this video. SS300 is right behind that. That will raise your benefits up an additional $300 a month. All Joe Biden has to do is listen to the second half of this video. I'll have the latest breaking details about one of the federal heads said about inflation overnight. Then we look at that FOMC meeting, no less than 5 of them this year, the first one just a few days from now. The latest on how it impacts your benefits on SSI with that inflationary gauge. Then oil prices stabilizing today as the Federal Reserve, as the United States government and other countries did a major move overnight that stabilized the situation because of what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. Well, the latest battleground information as it impacts your wallet from Ukraine and Russia today. It's a big second half of this video, and of course, we'll be going back into Build Back Better Act that has those MSC checks. But first, I want you part of this incredible family. You're watching LALATE, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, where viewers are getting millions of dollars on the regular by listening, learning, and subscribing. Hit that subscribe button with the most educated financial community there is on the internet. Broadcast and cable. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member where people are cashing checks, not tracking checks. As we go into the big second half, let's go right into CR for Stimulus 1.0. It's looking really good. So could anything get off the rails? Let's go over where we are with CR for Stimulus. Bill, small. $1.5 trillion of funds just for discretionary purposes, not the whole bill. So that's enough for a $2,000 stimulus check. Great. Bipartisan support, yes. House Democrats Republicans, yes. Senators, yes. Everything's lined up. Who has the discretion? The U.S. cabinet members of Joseph Biden, including Janet Yellen, head of Treasury, who oversees IRS. So everything is lined up perfectly. Inherent deadline just a few days away from now. So could anything go off the rails? Well, just if someone took the money and spent it on a park. Yeah, so all you got to do is really just advocate. You need to pick up the phone and advocate to those legislators to say, you know what? You got the money. Now make sure you spend it the right way. Pick up the phone and advocate, because now we're in our crunch time. You know, when we have crunch times where there's a real inherent deadline right in front of us, pick up the phone and advocate to the senators to make sure that they spend the money on you right away. And you've been doing a great job on social media and Twitter, but also use the telephone. Who are you going to contact? You're going to contact Leahy, but also Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. This is what you're going to say. Continuing resolution, early March, deadline, $1.5 trillion of discretionary spending. Use the discretion, spend at least a $2,000 stimulus check on us. Done. That's all you say. Continuing resolution, early March, put a $2,000 stimulus check in there, send it out. Very simple. Now, there is a way to sort of amp it up professionally, but also respectfully, which is the following. You know what's going on, senators, is that we've been holding your back, watching your back for Build Back Better Act for 11 months, haven't given us a check. So we need it. You know we need it. This is around the corner. Give us a check for now, and we still have your support on Build Back Better. Looks similar to something? It does. It looks exactly like December 2020, when you wanted to win those 2 Georgia Senate seats and ensure that the political balance of power was where you wanted to land. And at the time you said, we'll give you a check, we'll put a check in there because we're hurting. We haven't gotten anything from Build Back Better. And while we're going to hear about it in the State of Union address, we're not going to get a check the night of the address. We need a check from the continuing resolution. Very simple and across the board. The money is there, folks, and it's all lined up, and that is all they have to do is just send out the check. There we go. So CR for Stimulus 2 and 3.0. That is the other ones. The House of Democrats have passed another piece of economic legislation, sent over to the Senate, and the senators who are Republicans, led by Todd Young, say they're going to merge it with their ones. Why? Because senators, House members, Republicans and Democrats all want to give you money to ease the inflationary concerns across the board. That doesn't have the fastest timeline right behind CR for Stimulus 1.0. The next one that does is SS 300. SS 300 would pay you $200 more per month 30 days after watching this video. If Joe Biden picked up the phone and called today, it would give you $200 more per month 30 days after this video, and then another $100 per month starting this December. What is SS 200? What is SS 300? What is the breaking news about it? And I have a lot of breaking news on this one, folks, today. A ton. And it comes from top sources, federal governors of the Federal Reserve. Let's go over what we're talking about. In her run for president of the United States in 2020, Elizabeth Warren promised to give Americans $200 more per month on top of their existing benefits because she said you're hurting. This is you, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Rural Benefits, Veterans Benefits. Then she withdrew from her run for presidency, and Joe Biden says, I like her policies. I'm going to take them up as my own. And he did. And this includes the asset cap, income cap, marriage penalty that all go by act of Congress. But SS 200, which is the expression I coined on this channel to describe the extra $200 a month, 6 to 12 months, was not only part of Joe Biden's campaign promise, it was also part of his transition papers from president-elect to president, published at joebiden.com and are still live today on the website. You can still read them. He said at the time in November 2020 that you're hurting economically and need that money, additional $200 a month. Well, folks, you're hurting more now than then because inflation is hitting across the board. And that is why, as soon as he came into office, myself and Democrat senators were wondering, why hasn't he done this? We talked about fifth stimulus all last year, and yet fifth stimulus didn't happen. And so then, 4 weeks ago, I said, time for me to come up with another solution. And the solution was advocate for Joe Biden to pick up the phone and just swap out COLA with inflation. What's going on? Your benefits are determined based upon COLA, cost of living adjustment. And if the president makes a phone call today to the Social Security Administrator, says replace COLA with inflation, your benefits go up $200 a month, lifetime, starting 30 days from the time of that phone call. Done. Then in December, they'll go up another $100 a month, lifetime. Done. After that, if inflation stays 1 to 2%, it goes up about $40 a year. SS 400. Very, very simple. What's the breaking news about this? A lot of it overnight. And it comes from determining where inflation is. Remember, let's make this very obvious. You want the president to replace COLA with inflation when inflation is its highest point. Now, you don't want him to replace it with inflation when it's low and, like 9 months from now. You want him to do it right now, because once you step up with benefits, you never step down. So where is inflation? Inflation is a number released by the Department of Labor every month. It takes about 30 days to get the number. It was released in January for December. We're waiting for the January number in just a few days now, going into the end of February. Between releasing the numbers, we get gauges of inflation, and then we get analysis reports. My analysis reports last year were the following. I said that in December 2021, the inflationary rate was going to be 8% and not temporary or transitory, this sort of arch of the finger up and then down. Federal Reserve said no, 1 to 2% temporary transitory. I said, I don't buy it. Wall Street, 2 to 3% temporary transitory. I said, I don't buy it. I said, it's going to be 8% December, and it's going to stay up high. Number came in January for December. What was it? 7.5%. Ding, ding, ding. Got it right. Then I said all last month and this month, I think it's staying where it is. I don't think it's going down. I trained you as a viewer because you need to know this stuff before it happens, how to see inflation yourself. You go to the supermarket, you buy the eggs, the same pack of eggs, the same brand, the same supermarket, the same quantity. Did it go up 10 cents this last week or the week before, or 20 cents? You see inflation before I report to you. That's what inflation is, folks. And guess what? Breaking news overnight comes in from a top guy for the entire equation, and he is Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller, appearing in Santa Barbara here in Southern California. And when asked about inflation, is it going down this month? He said no. I expect inflation to remain elevated, high, and to only show modest signs of deceleration, going down, over the next few months thereafter. That's exactly what I'm telling you. So that means if Joe Biden swapped out your SS 300 right now for COLA for inflation, then you would get that 8% right now. You'd be locked in perfectly at additional $200 a month if you made the phone call right now. This is a Fed head. And he is relying upon the same economic data that I am. What other economic data do we have? We have this midterm month data. The midterm month data came in last Friday, and guess what it said? This was the most important inflationary gauge the Federal Reserve uses year after year, and it was the highest number since 1983. Ouch. It showed that food and energy prices went up 6.1%, the highest since 1982. This follows after the news of the Producer Price Index the week before coming in 11%, horrible. And Florida, California, a lot of states seeing 12% inflation. You can see in your back door as well. So this means that Joe Biden should make the phone call right today, because inflation is at its worst right today. What should he do? I've been seeing your great tweets on social media, and you've been doing a wonderful job as part of the Purple Power Caucus. You've been on social media tagging the president and the Social Security Administrator saying, hey, replace COLA with inflation. All you have to do is pick up the phone. Call over to the Social Security Administrator saying, hey, replace COLA with inflation. You promised to do this, part of the campaign. We're hurting. We need this money. This would be immediate relief to the American people. It is something that does not need an act of Congress, does not need an executive order. All it needs is a little persuasion and a cup of coffee and a croissant on the side. It's as simple as that. All he has to do, and he's done this before, he did it with Snap last year, he just picks up the phone and gives them a little bit of a nudge. And that is something that would happen right away, as soon as even CR for Stimulus 1.0. Now, let's go into what is also happening across the board that impacts this. The Federal Reserve is having 5 meetings this year. The Federal Reserve determines monetary policy in the United States, and it's looking at inflation. Your number for SS 300. What numbers are we looking at in the next few days this week? The Federal Reserve has 5 meetings this year. The permutations are 5 meetings. Will there be 5 interest rate spikes or 7? Ouch. And will they be quarter basis points or half basis points? Ouch. Most analysts and myself believe it will be 5 means 5 spikes. And the first one in just a few days from now, likely quarter, not half, because of what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. Now, let's go to some brand new breaking news that's huge. It really helps you a lot because it would be myopic. It would be ridiculous for me to say, hey, congratulations, you got a $600 stimulus check, and your price of gasoline at the pump is $30 a gallon. Yeah, it would make no sense. I have to tell you the complete story. The complete story is that the price of gasoline is a major issue that is covered on this channel now because it impacts you whether you drive or you don't drive. You buy goods at the supermarket. If the gasoline is too expensive, then it's a major issue. And how scary is it? I don't want to freak you out, but this is what's at issue. The issue at hand is that if we do not keep gasoline under control, we spiral into recession, stagflation, stalling economy, unemployment, and not just in the United States, but internationally. What happens? What goes on? When we're talking about gasoline, the issue is that gasoline is determined value based upon how many barrels of gasoline are available. You're looking at beautiful stock footage of the beautiful capital of Kyiv, Ukraine's capital, now under battleground with Russia. And this Russia invasion has taken Russian oil out of distribution because less Russian oil is available, then gasoline goes up. And what do we have today? We have brand new breaking details that's brand new that was not even here yesterday. It's all really good news. Let me explain. You got to know these numbers, folks. You got to know these numbers because this could wipe out major parts of this economy. Got to know these numbers. The price of gasoline that is bought in a wholesale environment is called the Brent crude gasoline per barrel. As soon as Russia invaded Ukraine, we shot up to 105 a barrel. Well, Russia then was sanctioned and all its gasoline, most of its gasoline was taken offline, not in our pipeline. Now, the issue was how to stabilize our number here and what number can we sustain. We immediately shot up to about 105 a barrel. We can't do that. So the federal government, the United States, Joe Biden, released some of our stockpile gasoline. It's called part of the federal stockpiling. It's in the storage room behind the lobster shorts. That's why you never see it. So we released it and we got down to $94 a barrel. Good. Now, we've moved up again to about $100 a barrel. The issue was how to really stabilize and what number can we work at. We cannot do $125 or $135 a barrel. We will collapse as an economy. Number two, we can't see other economies like Italy or France do that as well. They'll collapse and then we'll fall down. So we can sustain $100 a barrel if inflation does not get worse, and it's not going to get worse. So $100 a barrel works. The breaking news on this right now is that the United States brokered a brand new deal overnight to get other countries that stockpile their gasoline to release some of theirs. This is great news. China, India, Japan, South Korea, and the UK have released new storage barrels that they have. And this is even more important for us than them. Why? Because they're a little bit more dependent upon the Russian oil. Because they're closer to Russia, they get more Russian oil than we do. They need to stabilize theirs. If their economy goes under, we get in trouble. The new comments from the White House today are, we're actively working with countries around the world to evaluate the collective reserves as the strategic petroleum reserves of major energy-consuming countries. And the United States will release additional barrels of oil and gasoline as warranted. So this is great news. And so that comes on the heels of the United States really smashing with the Western allies, the Russian economy. Now, let me explain to you the situation right now, which is brand new details you're hearing on Mornings LA. The Russian economy is imploding at the time of this recording. The currency is down 30%. The economy is a modern economy. Russia has a modern economy that has a central bank like our central bank, and the central bank has literally been cut off from the West. SWIFT funds, which are the ability to send funds in and out of Russia, have been taken offline ostensibly, and that is preventing the federal operation of a central bank in Russia to exist. Russia started yesterday on this channel. If you were tuning in yesterday, Russia was about the number 10 largest economy in the world. At the time of this recording, it's about 11. By the end of today, it may be 15. By the end of this week, it'll be about 20. If it continues by this weekend, it will fall off the map, analysts believe, and become the next Cuba. This is how modern economies that are linked by electronic means can literally destroy one another by blocking the situation. The situation is so effective at the moment in these sanctions, which the word sanctions, a lot of people think is much of nothing. You literally can destroy an economy by blocking the funds in and out. And guess what's also happening? Those Russian oligarchs, who I've decided not to really cover on this channel, but you can watch them on Mika and Morning Joe. They'll name them by name. The Russian oligarchs who are amongst us in the United States and overseas are now seeing their potential assets being potentially seized. Elsewhere, we've seen very simple things like states and myself in California here advocating for Russian-made vodka be taken off the shelves and not distributed. But the destruction of the Russian economy is very effective at the moment, and that would alleviate the situation at hand. Now, we have to be very careful about this because we cannot bring our economy down in the same regard, because certain economies we depended upon, like Canada, Italy, France, need some vehicles in and out. A lot of the major U.S. holdings have now had time to clear out, sell in major losses their Russian investments, get them out. They're getting them out as quickly as possible. All right, now let's go into some great news. Money, your money. Let's get some money. You know, my purpose here is to get you money. Have you gotten $1,000 from this channel this week? Have you gotten it? If you haven't, get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to get you money right now, and it's third stimulus. This is what I'm here for. Third stimulus is paying viewers thousands of dollars, and in the last few days, viewers have gotten thousands of dollars or more. Have you gotten any? Get that pen and paper ready. Get that membership newsletter out right now. I'm going to show you the success stories that viewers have had this week and how you can get more money as well. Here we go. Reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, and your county house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And you're going to get those sums of money right away. You must reach out to all 6 places. You must put multiple applications in a file, and you must get multiple rounds. Reach out and get that membership newsletter. Link is under the video right today. And lean on those nonprofits, folks, because those nonprofits pay for these items when you have problems getting them across the board. Now, let's go over some of the other items that you need to know about what the success stories are breeding by the moment. Well, viewers have listened and learned, and this channel is all about cashing checks, not tracking checks. And boy, the success stories overnight just keep on coming in. Overnight, Charles Garman says, I got another $1,000 for energy assistance from you, LA. Thank you. Congratulations. Karen Phillips, she says, I lost all my jobs. I didn't know how I was going to pay for my utilities or rent, but I contacted an organization in my area who helps with rent and utilities, and I got 3 months of rent and 3 months of utilities. Quadruple exclamation points. LA, you are amazing. Thank you so much, Karen. So she listened and learned. The average viewer of this channel is getting this money. What are we talking about? We're talking about third stimulus. It became law in spring of 2021. And I had gotten viewers used to how to get this money before it became law. We had gotten some of it under the end of second stimulus. There wasn't a lot of it out there. But I trained viewers. I said, I'm training you how to get it, because when it becomes law, you're going to need a lot of this money. Stimulus check, okay. Stimulus check, great. This is more money. I thought at the time it's going to be $15,000. And I said, when third stimulus becomes law, I had a preview of it. I said, I can get you $15,000. I undervalued it. Average viewer of this channel got $45,000. $45,000, $600 stimulus check? Yeah. People looking elsewhere learned nothing. People that are watching this channel cleaned up at $45,000 when this became law in January 2020. What did they get? They got on average about 3 to 5 months of rent. January, February, March, and then maybe 2 utilities. But last spring, I said, get another round. So that was the second round. Last Christmas, people were saying, where's that, fourth stimulus check? We stayed on point, but third stimulus was still paying out. And viewers of this channel got about $15,000 again, about 3 to 5 months of rent. Each round is about 3 to 5 months of rent, and then as many utilities as you get, 1, 2, or 3. And the success stories continue to come in. If you've had success stories, send it to me on private message. So you want to rely on those nonprofits because they also pick up those sums of money as well. And the average viewer of this channel is just doing so well. They're getting about $45,000. Get those big sums of money today. Get another round. If you got around this money before, get another round today and do it today. Now let's look at some more of the success stories that came in this last few days. And let's look at how many months these people are getting. So here's Bob Bacon, always in the chat with the great shorts. He got 3 more months of rent. There you go, right in the scope, 3 to 5. You got 3 more months of rent from his church. Congratulations, Bob. Brian Donahue, he's a Purple Hawk. He got a second round. So this is the second time he's getting the money. Good job, Brian. And he got 5 months of rent. So wow, big success story there. Second time, but this time 5 months. Really good. People understand that this is sums of money. We don't care what cash is, folks. Cash is king. We're here to cash checks. We're not here to track checks. And if you can get a lot of checks, grab them. And here's Nisi, true inspiration to all of us. She got about $40,000 from first and second rounds last year. She got another $10,000 this week, with $7,000 of which is for rent. And then we have Karen Joseph. She got about $40,000 this last week. Incredible. Just absolutely incredible. So what we're looking at right on this horizon is all this incredible sums of money you can get right now from third stimulus. Not 5 weeks now, not 5 months now, right now across the board. Now let's cut back into Build Back Better Act, the fourth stimulus recon. It's important to understand that in the world of news reporting, there's a lot of things that happen in a given day. There could be a hurricane, there could be a tornado, or there could be a Russian invasion. And broadcast channels only have so much time to cover certain subject matter. I want you to understand that Build Back Better Act is still a top priority, number one of the Biden administration. A president has to do economic policy and domestic policy. And just because you're seeing domestic economic policy and foreign policy, just because you're seeing foreign policy on the broadcast media, doesn't mean he's not focusing on Build Back Better. You're going to see it front page news again just a few days from now when he goes to the State of the Union address. You may not hear 3 minutes of discussion about it, but you can certainly hear something about it. And what's important to understand is it's getting done. Trust me, folks, Build Back Better Act is going to get done. And Build Back Better Act is the one with those big checks across the board. Let's look at some of those incredible checks that are in Build Back Better Act, because I want you to know what they are, because that's how he pounces a Purple Hawk. It's first come, first serve. Let's look at them right now. They got in there the SALT cap, raising from $10,000 to $72,500 of what you can deduct in state and local taxes. They got in there the Pell Grant. They got in there the nutrition money. They got in there the money for the farmers, independent contractors, the hazard pay, the essential workers money, and also the lowering the eligibility age of Medicare. She's got so much things in there. Dental, vision, hearing, MSC is in there, says those senators. We also got in there some of the different items like the home repairs and the weatherize your home, all going in there. This is fourth stimulus recon. Now, when we look at our horizon of all these different items, I know there's a lot of legislation, a lot of different bills and items covered in this recording. So let's do a big recap. First one up really is the continuing resolution, just a few days away. $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds in there, bipartisan support, months of negotiations, Republicans and Democrats, enough for a stimulus check in the discretion of the cabinet members of Joseph Biden advocate for the inclusion of a $2,000 stimulus check. This would be clean and sweet. Number 2, third stimulus, right today. Don't even have to wait till tomorrow. Get it right today. Available everywhere. City, county, state. Open that membership newsletter, become a member today. The one that would come up next thereafter is really SS300. All Joe Biden has to do is make that phone call, Joe. You've been so good on advocacy, Purple Power. Do it. Push and say, make the phone call and replace COLA with inflation. He promised this. It's still at joebiden.com. And this is something that needs to be done now when inflation is really high, not when inflation is low. We have a lot of great news coming in from the White House as the federal government is really trying to ease this pressure at the pump. This crude oil pricing is now easing out, and this is amid the tensions of Ukraine and Russia. A series of delegations have undergone 1, 2, 3 negotiations today. Ukraine is not turning over its country to Russia, folks. So these are just meetings. Meantime, Swiss banks are now blocking or seizing Russian assets. Oligarchs are facing having their assets seized on U.S. soils. You cannot, as a golden passport holder, which is a terminology describing billionaires in Russia, take money out of Russia and bring it to our U.S. soils anymore because SWIFT has been locked down. All this is working so well. And it's stabilizing the situation with the Brent crude keeping relatively calm at about 101 a barrel at the time of this recording. It was about $1 earlier today. It's in that 101, $1 range right at the moment. A 101, 100 range at the moment. Very good news across the board. We got a lot of shows coming up today. Home Street and Stimulus at either 11 a.m. or 7 o'clock at night is our I Support Ukraine edition. And you're going to see a little bit more of what's going on the battleground and how it impacts what's at home for you across the board. Then, of course, we have brand new Afternoons LALATE, brand new Evenings LALATE, and brand new shows throughout the day. What's important for you to understand is that you have to remain positive, have to remain focused, and have to remain on point. Financial news. You're watching the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, the number 1 on this subject matter for you. Do not think that because you don't see someone mentioning this on the flick of your TV set that this is not happening. There's just a lot going on right now, folks, and we're staying on message. And with that, I look forward to you being part of this incredible family. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused. Coming up next is Noontime, Home LALATE at 11 a.m. and direct from Santa Monica, California. Hope the weather is good where you are. Remember, the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing on mornings.